do you feel like you got an advantage music wise because just people wouldn't see it from you as far as just it just seems like you're being yourself. Like honestly, man, I was watching the video right for your Stop Playing With Me, right? And I'm watching it and I'm like, it just looks like you guys are having a lot of fun. And you produced and directed it, correct?
My man Ray Mark, he's a talented artist and creative, and that's really what I love about most of my friends and stuff is that we're all self-dependent and can do a lot ourselves. But when we get together, it just becomes this like thing. And so Ray helped me shoot it, and we just kind of went out, picked locations, and gathered a general consensus. And I edited and put it together, and I produced the track with my boy Jezreel. And so I think it just like the vibe was just there. And yeah.
So I gotta ask.
What was the question?
No, this is the question. Did you produce those dance moves? Were those your?
That was in the moment. That was in the moment, man. I've been just trying to just enjoy the vibe more lately. I was at my friend's release party last couple nights ago, and I was just dancing to just about every song that played, and there was really no one dancing, but I just felt the need to it, and so those were just kind of what came out.
Yeah, tell them stop fucking playing with me. Heard the whole game said cure the disease. I'm who they look to in times of need. In terms of rap shit, I'm an elite. Tell them stop fucking playing with me. Yeah, I got the nuance, I got the beats, I got the style, I got the steez. I'm who puts on for the whole damn team. Tell them stop fucking playing with me. Stop fucking playing. They used to tell me that I never make it. The fuck is you saying? I got a dick hit bitch tryna suck dick to my new jam. So stop fucking playing, stop fucking playing, stop fucking playing, stop fucking playing, stop fucking do good straight through the loophole. Brand new dimension, get you a spoonful. Welcome to crunch time, this shit is crucial. Fade with the headband, Alice Caruso.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast. It's your boy Cash, aka Exec P, one half of the Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast team. This week, I'm holding it down for my man, Mr. Prez. Stay safe, man. Like I said, man, he's taking some time off just to get his head straight. Just went through a pretty scary ordeal at the airport at Atlanta, but hey, my man is good and everything's good with him. He just got back to the house, so he's relaxing with the family, just taking everything in and appreciating life. So, he'll be back when he can get back. So, with that said, happy holidays. This is the episode after the holidays. So, I got a really dope guest, man. I love discovering new artists that have a message, but also not so serious. Also, just speaking their truth to power, and I'm invested in who they are. Our next guest is from Yorktown, Virginia. He's a really dope artist. He has a few projects out, and we're going to get into his most latest project, Ronny DoGood. Welcome to the couch, man.
Thank you guys for having me, man. I'm super excited, man. I appreciate all the kind words so far that really kind of like hit home, kind of like just, speaking my truth and trying to have as much fun and be lighthearted at the same time. It's like, for sure, man, I appreciate it.
Yeah, we need that space, right? I mean, I love what I love, and you probably like a certain type of music, but at the end of the day, shit should just be jamming, and it should make you enjoy whatever you do in life at the time. So exactly. Far, so good, man. So far, so good with that. So, I mean, the project we're here to talk about is DoGood Part 2. We have Part 1, but we'll get into all that. I just want you to kind of just let the people know. I mean, I already said where you're from, but just give us a little bit more. Where you from? Who you are? How you kind of got your start in music?
I kind of well, I'm Ronny DoGood, man. I went to high school in Yorktown, Virginia, but like I'm a military child, and I grew up all over the world. I lived in Hawaii, then for like first few years of elementary school, then moved to Germany, and then kind of ended up finishing up high school in Yorktown, Virginia. And so I kind of been like, and I had an older brother that really had a great musical taste and was always exploring, and he's a very talented fine artist. So like I've always had like a great, what I consider a great influence, and like something that kind of like shaped what like I was listening to, and I was always following what he did. So coming up, I remember like back in the day they had like free music videos on demand. So this must have been like 2003. I was watching like 50 Cent music videos. Found Nas for the first time with his Street Disciples music video. That's still to this day my favorite Nas song. Um, but yeah, man, I started rapping in like seventh grade. So that's really where I started making music and expressing myself over like beats and stuff, and then kind of just did it throughout high school. And then when I was around 18, I was doing talent shows and stuff in high school, but I wasn't really writing my own music. But then I kind of was like, nah, let me like start to like really express myself. And I just felt that urge, man. And I think I was super inspired and drawn to it. At that time, it was like Mac Miller, Isaiah Rashad, Chance the Rapper. Those guys were really coming out at that time, and like really like having like something to say, but also like you said, like doing it in their own way and keeping it fun at the same time. And I think that was kind of like what drew me to this direction.
So you mentioned being a military brat, and anybody that knows that listen to our podcast know that myself and Prez have served over 40 years collectively and counting in the military.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Appreciate your father's service as well, man.
That's
Coast Guard. You guys probably had a lot of awesome assignments. You said Hawaii.
Yeah, man. It was Hawaii, then Germany back to back too. So it was polar opposites. It was a crazy thing to just go through as a kid. It was awesome. Like being able to learn how to surf and then getting the chance to like snowboard in the Alps. Like that shit was wild. Crazy.
For sure, man. But one of the cities that you grew up in, man, speaking of, like we were talking before we started the podcast, Stuttgart, Germany, it has a lot of hip hop elements to it. And overseas, as you know, man, and you probably were younger when you were here, but I'll just say for the people out there listening, like sometimes it feels like the people overseas have a better appreciation for music, especially American rap music, than even people, you know, in the States. So how did you get a hold of hip hop and just really engulf yourself in the music while you were kind of coming up in your formative years over in Germany and Hawaii?
The internet existed at that time, man. So that definitely really made everything a lot easier. YouTube was just getting its thing going. MySpace was like really going on when I lived in Germany, or at least that was where my attention was sent. And then we had like LimeWire, so you could really find any song you liked on YouTube and then just look it up on LimeWire and get any project that you wanted. So you were really like, and even if you didn't have the bread to buy the CD, you could still like finesse. And so that really kind of like was how I was able to find so much. I think now like Europe really goes crazy and hard for like boom bap hip hop, which is super dope. So I think it just always kind of like centered in there somehow. Like in Germany, like my brother, like I said, was like a fine artist, but he really got into graffiti in Germany, because you walk around in Germany and just about like every highway on the Autobahn, like, or on the underpasses are tagged up. And like and because Germany is in the European Union, you can drive around from country to country, and you could take trains from country to country so effortlessly that you might be in France and you might see the same graffiti artist putting up something in Berlin or in Munich or in Rome, and like it got that in deep. And so as my brother started to look into graffiti and stuff, we kind of found ourselves in the New York graffiti scene, and he was like looking into that stuff. And I think that kind of led more into me finding like early 90s hip hop and like the Far Side, freaking Tribe Called Quest, Wu-Tang, Biggie. Biggie's my favorite rapper of all time, I think.
We can stop the podcast right now. That's all I need. That's all I need. That's all I need to hear you say. That's all I need to hear you say. But nah, continue on.
So yeah, so like that's kind of like that pushed me towards like being like a super being in love with this kind of with the rap shit. And then like RZA is probably one of my favorite producers of all time. So that's kind of, I don't know, that just kind of like really influenced me, I guess. And looking back on it, and
Damn,
I never really was able to put those kind of things together until this morning when we were talking about it. Like, I think it was just like a stoned epiphany, like you know what I mean? But that's just the beauty of conversation and talking to people in places where we've all been before. Like you said, I've lived out there, and you're living out there now. So I was really able to reflect and feel positive about it.
Sure, man. It's crazy. I don't want to speed because I got a lot of questions about just your production, what you like as far as production, who you like as far as rappers and all that. But one thing you didn't mention about yourself, man, is, I mean, you got the cardigan on here. We mentioned we ain't mentioned sports yet. We talked about some sports in the background, but you played college golf. Is that true? Is that something that you did?
I did do that. Around the time that I started rapping was around the time that I started getting seriously into golf too. And like my dad played quarterback at the Coast Guard Academy. And when he started to like, just be out and about after that and serving, he got super into golf. And so I ended up just kind of catching that love with him. And my mom's dad played a lot of golf. And so I was able to like play a lot of golf. And so, yeah, man, just loved golf and rapping. And at first I wanted to be like Tiger Woods.
What a combination.
I know. And Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson. And I was a lefty too. So I just would play golf and like write raps in my little composition notebooks. And I had a hard golf addiction. Like I still do. And like I took a step away from the game for like 2 years for a minute, like towards like 3 years ago, but I've been getting back into it now. But yeah, I played Division I golf up in New Jersey at the school called Fairleigh Dickinson. And then I transferred down to Charlotte. And then I live in Atlanta now. So, and then after I graduated in Charlotte, I moved to Atlanta and kind of was getting into the music scenes in Charlotte and Atlanta, and boom, shakalaka.
Yeah, man. So are you the reason for our mutual homie, Keenan Rush, golf swing? Like, are you working on his golf swing? Because I'm looking at it when he posts. It's getting there. It's not quite where it needs to be, but are you helping him out?
We be going to the range, man. I be giving him some pointers here and there, but he's I will say his swing is solid, and I think it's got a lot of potential. And like Keenan is an ex-college athlete too, so there's a lot of like just pure talent in there and athleticism and hand-eye coordination, and so it's really already there. It's just the repetition at this point and making sure we get out there a couple times a week and just get outside, one, because we're rappers and in the studio all day and night. And so we really need to be outside and soak in some sunshine just to kind of have balance. And that's really, really the main thing.
For sure.
But yeah, I love playing golf with Keenan, man. Keenan's my guy, man. It's always fun.
Yeah, man. I love to see his glow up. Shout out to him. I gotta reach out, man, because he's dropped several projects and we've had him on. Like, I think he was probably one of our very first guests once we started to say like we want to start interviewing artists. But yeah, we got to get him back on because he's grown so much musically over the last couple months. So I'll definitely reach out for sure. But I also got some questions for you in regards to you guys' song together on Do Good Part 2. But I don't want to speed. I want to stay right here in terms of going. Well, I want to double back to your talent shows because I got questions. Mm-hmm. Did you say you perform your own songs, or did you perform songs of rappers that you looked up to?
Wow, rappers that I looked up to. I think at the time we were just kind of just me. I had like a partner that I was rapping with. His name's Parko Green. He still raps. He lives up in Richmond, and that's like my best friend growing up in high school, and went through a lot with that man. But we probably would. I think one year we would do these like 10-minute sets, and we would open up, and like every year it would be different from freshman year through senior year. But like I think we did songs like Buzzin', who's that by? It's the Man I Feel Like Money. It's a DJ Mustard beat, but I'm gonna look it up. Hold on. Yeah, it was like a cool song in the moment. It was a fun beat. I'm trying to think what else we did. There was so many, man. It's really hard to keep up with. But I think it was always kind of like the mainstream. We really stuck to like mainstream rap songs at the time. So that was like around the time Yonkers had dropped. So like anything really that was charting around 2010, 2011, 2012, that was really what we were doing on. And it really worked well. Like people loved it. Like they knew the songs already. They recognized them, and then they were able to kind of like see us do our own thing on them. Which is why I kind of do those freestyles now, man. Like, but now on my Instagram, I'm a little bit more. I'm getting my taste off a little bit more. Like I was just a kid back then, didn't really know what I was doing, but now I get to like kind of flex and like kind of be like, oh yeah, this record I really like, but they don't know that, but they're gonna know I do now with like the Blow Your Mind and some other ones like Mathematics by Mos Def. That's probably one of my favorite songs ever.
Do you feel like you got an advantage music wise because just people wouldn't see it from you as far as it just seems like you're being yourself. Like, honestly, man, I was watching the video, right, for your Stop Playing With Me, right? And I'm watching it and I'm like, it just looks like you guys are having a lot of fun. And you produced and directed it, correct?
My man Ray Mark, he's a talented artist and creative, and that's really what I love about most of my friends and stuff is that we're all self-dependent and can do a lot ourselves. But when we get together, it just becomes this like thing. And so Ray helped me shoot it, and we just kind of went out, picked locations, and gathered a general consensus. And I edited and put it together, and I produced the track with my boy Jezreel. And so I think it just like the vibe was just there. And yeah.
So I gotta ask,
what was the question?
No, this is the question. Did you produce those dance moves? Were those your?
That was in the moment. That was in the moment, man. I've been just trying to just enjoy the vibe more lately. I was at my friend's release party last couple nights ago, and I was just dancing to just about every song that played, and there was really no one dancing, but I just felt the need to it, and so those were just kind of what came out in the moment. I didn't really plan it. No.
And I gotta say, man, it felt like you were having a blast. So it came off.
Yes.
It came off the right way. Like, look, I can't dance either, man. I got 2 left feet, but if I'm having a good time, I'm gonna do my thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what anybody thinks about the moves, man. So that's again one of those unique qualities in terms of just letting that shit all hang out. And that's kind of what I got from listening to that, then seeing the visual. It made me like the song a lot more, just because you were being yourself.
Hey man, I really appreciate that because that's like definitely the goal. That was definitely the goal. And we just went out there and we're like, let's try and just find some cool, like visually enticing things and just be ourselves in there together and bring them to this like world of where people need to stop playing with us and but not like in a negative way. And so yeah, I appreciate it, man, because that was definitely like what I was going for.
So you feel like people don't take what you're doing seriously in terms of just your craft, or is it just you just talking your shit? Like, don't fucking
It's
play
a
with me because I really could do this shit.
Yeah, it's like definitely that like in both ways. Like it's like a self-validating song, like, you know, telling myself and a reminder that like I can really do this, like, and I don't need anybody else's approval to do it. And so that was kind of like one thing about it. And then it's just kind of like it's like the term "stop playing with me" is like it's like an idiom being used right now. And so as it kind of like it just felt cool and fun to say, and like just to put my own twist on it was like, yeah. And then it's like on this like Latin jazz kind of like sample that like really just kind of gives it its own little kind of bop to it that isn't really going on now either, but still feels fun.
Yeah, shit is super vibey, and I love my boom bap shit. I love my lyrics. I love my bang bang shoot 'em up shit. Just like I'm from New York. You know,
Yeah.
I'm '80s baby. Grew up on Rockefeller, Wu Tang, Bad Boy, Murder
Uh-huh.
Inc., Duck Down, like all those different type of historic Def Jam. I mean, historic record labels. You know, LL. Just I was fortunate enough to come up in that era, so I like that stuff. But I also like the softer part, not softer, but I would say like the more fun part of hip hop too. I like the Will
Uh-huh.
Smiths. I like the LL Cool J's for all the shit he gets. I like the Ja Rule records that he gets shit for. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I like those things, and it's okay to say that. You know what I'm saying? Is we gotta have
Hmm.
balance. We gotta have balance in our records. You know what I mean? So I don't feel like you should necessarily do one thing or another. Like some days, Monday I may want to listen to Keenan. Tuesday I may want to listen to Ronnie, and that's the
Exactly.
great thing about music.
Hmm.
You should have options.
Or you can listen to Talk Your Shit and hear them on the same track. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly, and then you can listen to both of you guys on the same track. But I'm gonna get into those because that track is one of my favorite tracks off the most latest EP. I want to get into some production nerd stuff because you said something that resonated with me
uh-huh.
recently, and if people listen, they know I've been trying to dive into production, mixing, and possibly getting back into music. I don't know. I may rap again. I don't know. But anyway,
Hmm.
that's not the point. The point is I bought a bunch of gear and said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do it." You spent time in Charlotte, Atlanta the last couple years, just kind of doing your thing production wise. And so how did that come to be? And what is your, I guess, gear of choice right now? What are you utilizing to make your music?
My production, like I guess, tail as a creative, kind of it took a little longer. I was like rapping in college and making music and going to like a little engineer, seeing like a not a little engineer, like, but just like we, you know, just we were all young in the game and coming up, and this dude had a little small makeshift studio that was super efficient and quality, and I would go see him like record like me and my friend in Pro Tools, and I was like, dang, like if I could learn this, I'm really taking it the next level. So then
Yeah.
in Charlotte, I started to do that, and I went to this like studio, and that like basically let me like sit in and watch them record, and then because they were needing engineers and they were needing help, so and they had this smaller B room too, and so eventually that kind of just led to me being able to like me taking sessions from for them, recording their clients, and then I would like have the key to the building and I could like record myself and rap in the studio and be there all hours of the night. And then that was in Charlotte. When I graduated, I moved to Atlanta and started interning at another studio and really kind of just redid the thing all over again. And but in Charlotte too, the owner of that studio, he gave me FL, and so I started like producing and like writing to my own production in F on my production in FL. And I used to go by the rapper named Dysfunctional Ron, and so like one of the first projects as Dysfunctional Ron is called Rain Sounds, and like half of those beats on there are stuff that I like produced myself and was just getting into that. But then like, you know, as I moved to Atlanta, I kind of like was getting more in tune with my taste and how to make what I wanted, and kind of saw people working and chopping samples in Ableton. And then ever since then, I've just been an Ableton cat. And that's really all I've needed to have since that, man. Ableton is crazy. And it, for me being like real, me already knowing so much about Pro Tools, the Ableton production side of it, it's like very similar and linear to me. So it really just works. Like it makes a lot of sense. And I like how I can manipulate things and have like a similar Pro Tools flow, but making beats and being a little more efficient, because on Pro Tools, the MIDI part of Pro Tools isn't as like efficient. There's a couple extra steps you got to take here and there when you're like trying to get a sound up or stuff. And like, you can really commit things a lot faster and save your computer's like screen usage or like its RAM in Ableton compared to Pro Tools when you're doing that. So I like cook up in Ableton, record myself in Pro Tools, edit the videos in Final Cut.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I got a different flow. I do our videos in Adobe Premiere, and then I'll do our recordings and stuff like that in Logic. But right now, I mean, I'm debating on whether I want to switch to Ableton, because I got an MPC and an Ulterior keyboard recently, and then I was like, I got Ableton Lite. I want to try it out, but I don't want to put too much more on the computer. So I'm in the market for maybe a new DAW. I don't know if I'm gonna switch altogether, because you know that changes your efficiency altogether.
I will say
I'm thinking about it.
They're all the DAWs are so crazy and fa, and Logic's stock sounds are phenomenal, and really you can accomplish like anything the same exact way in any DAW just about. And so if you're comfortable in one thing, just ride with that. And maybe like if you're not maybe comfortable with the sound, it's like maybe invest in some more plugins instead of like switching the DAW. But if you're want something new, then try something new. And Ableton really is it's him. Ableton is him.
I'm thinking about it. I got a light version I could try out that came with my Apollo.
With the okay.
Yeah. Well, the Arteria, sorry. It came with the Keylab 61. So I'm figuring it out, but I'm gonna try it, see how it sounds, see how it works out. But as far as production goes, with your music, do you see yourself utilizing your production more, or do you like to go out and just kind of network and work with other people a lot more?
I like to do both. I don't like to wait on anyone. Okay. And
so you possess
a little bit, but I love community. But like if I'm like my production is more for like the love of it, and like I give more of my production away than I tend to rap on myself. And maybe because I'm still like I'm not like I've been rapping since like writing rap since I was 13. So that's like 13 years coming up in January. I've really only been producing since I was like 22. So that's such less time. So I'm so much more not comfortable, and like I'm super critical, and like I can't get out of my own way. And it's like I love like my writing process as far as a rapper is when the beat is getting cooked up, I'm usually there and kind of getting my ideas in the moment for the most part. And so sometimes if I'm super locked in on making the beat, I get a little bit like I just get fatigued on it, and then I decide that I'm just not going to rap on it, and I would rather hear something fresh and come up with something immediately on the dot. But that being said, most of the time when I do rap on my own beats, it's either right then and there, or if not, it'll be like almost like 6 months later. Like I'll have to forget about it, and I'll just be clicking it, and I'll probably have had like my favorite drink right now like is a Celsius. It's like these fit energy drinks that like that shit is like crack, man. So if I'm drinking I'm drinking a Celsius and like vibing out, playing some beats and just hanging out, shooting the shit with friends, like and playing beats, and then boom, catch a vibe, start freestyling, and then probably just write something off of that and make a little song real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
totally understand. I totally understand, because it's like you're juggling so many hats. Because as a I would say like a one trick pony, you got the production, you got the rapping, and then at times when you want to just hear it sound almost studio quality or master like, you're doing that too, the mixing and mastering. So you're wearing like 4 or 5 different hats at once, and that's a lot to ask for. Sometimes you want to be like the rapper. You just want to walk in there, be creative, fuck with your flows, do your thing, lay it down, walk away from it, and then let the engineer and the producer do their thing around it, and then you move on. You know what I'm saying? So I totally get what you're saying in terms of just, just your own production. You're your biggest critic, especially with something being pretty new to you. But the one question I wanted to ask you though, it was in regards to just your you said something on DoGood Part 1. I know we're here for DoGood Part 2, but you said something in one of your songs.
All questions relating to DoGood are for sure. So that's all good.
Yeah. So you talk about being in your own head a lot. And me and Prez, we talk about that as we talk about marketing and all these different type of things we're trying to do to make the podcast grow. But you talked about that in one of your songs, and I wish I would have wrote that down. But like, how do you get out of that funk of being in your head and that clouded judgment of yourself at times, especially wanting to be in this music space? How do you do that? How do you navigate those lanes?
It's like a never-ending challenge, I think. It's for me at least. It's a lot of like expression is a great release for that. So making music and stuff, and really doing, and besides that, doing anything that makes me feel a little bit more alive, like making sure, like I took a break from golf for a minute at the end of college and towards my first few years being in Atlanta. But getting back in touch with that has been super amazing for me. And also like I've been recently making a hard commitment to, like, I've been running 2.5 miles a day, like 6 times a week, and going to the gym like 6 days a week. So like getting my blood pumping and like feeling alive, like that's like it's a subtle reminder, but like those kind of things just like, it clears me up to like be able to not have to stress out about not be too, honestly, just being too sore to like stress about something from being in the gym, and then like just like my mind is from there is charged up and ready to rumble, and I can just like make music. But it's like it's a everyday thing, honestly, though. It's never like, I'm sure you guys would attest to that. Like it's never if it's not one thing, it's for sure another, and that's just the flaw of the human condition, and never being able to be satisfied. So like,
right, it's always gonna be something, right? It's always gonna be something. As soon as I dwell on the shit that I'm going through in present moment, there's some other shit that's happening over here and that I have to handle. So it's so many fires that I gotta put out. I've developed a not give a fuck attitude about things, like, or it's gonna get done when it gets done. You know what I mean? Or I'm gonna make beats when I make beats. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put this episode out when I put this episode out. I'm gonna get this artist on the podcast. Like juggling so many hats, you can't be everything to everybody, and even to yourself. You know what I mean? You put yourself on time constraints that are just trivial. It makes no sense. Like you can't get all the different things in your head out. So you just got to work at your own pace and just be steadfast in your approach. That the consistency in how you approach things is ultimately gonna win out to whatever you ultimately want to be.
Because like, and two, like grown, like we grew up and we had a routine of like going to school and doing things a certain way, and then like you're a little bit like further on, and so like other, like your 20s were a lot different than your 30s, and
absolutely
our teen years are a lot different than that, and so there's new things and new challenges that present itself, and I'm really scared of being stagnant, and like really scared of not growing, and you know what I mean. So like I really just try and like just make sure I'm doing that, because that will, you know, that'll just bode well for the future, at least as far as mental health is concerned.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with you with that. Like, just if it feels good, do it. If it doesn't, don't. And that's simple advice, right? You know, but go ahead.
Well, like, and also like my first rap name, but no, it wasn't my first rap name. I'm not going to talk about my first rap name, but
come on, you got to give us the first rap name. You got to give us the real first.
When I started writing real songs, I was Dysfunctional Ron, and I don't know. It's after a certain point, it became like a nag to say. It felt like I was defining myself by negative characteristics, and so that kind of led to the change in development of Ronny DoGood. So, you know what I'm saying? If it wasn't a search to try and grow and be malleable, then like I wouldn't be here, Ronny DoGood, giving DoGood part 1 and part 2, talking to Cash. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, and that's a great outlook.
Getting people off the couch.
That's great. That's a great outlook, man, because I say you get a lot more with positive energy than negative energy, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, because you know in rap, you know, in hip hop, I'll just say from the stuff that I like to listen to, the negative energy that you put out comes back to you tenfold. But it's not until you don't care about that stuff and you just want to, you know, you help people. It doesn't necessarily need to be seen. And you do things out the kindness of your heart as far as the music, and you follow your path, it'll ultimately get you to where you want to be. Like, look at what you were saying earlier as far as the experiences you had in Charlotte. You just happened to stumble upon a studio. You were sitting, watching, doing your due diligence, and then all of a sudden you leverage that into being into the studio and being an engineer. You learned enough from Pro Tools to apparently be able to do your own sessions. And then those people were none the wiser that you were recording, that you weren't as experienced as the people that showed you. Then next thing you know, you're in Atlanta doing the same things. Now you have your home studio, you're around your people and your creatives, and all those experiences pretty much shape DoGood part 1 and 2.
Exactly,
so,
definitely.
It happens, and it's definitely a good thing. But that's really where I want to get to in some of these tracks. and Do Good Part 2. So
Yeah, let's do it.
first one, Blessings.
Yes.
Cheat Code. Cheat Code has one of the most fire samples in there. Tell us a little bit about that.
Blessings is my favorite song on the EP. It's I made that one, and I made Stop Playing With Me as far as the production. I think I was just watching, I forget what I was doing. I might have been like cleaning the house one day, and I saw this like Earth, Wind and Fire live set on YouTube came on, and I just heard that part of Devotion, and I was just like, damn. And I really like, I've been super into the Earl Sweatshirt, navy blue kind of poetic, like avant-gardian kind of like style of New York. And I know Earl's from Cali, but like there's these artists from New York that I really feel like be pushing that sound, and it's super dope. And he's called Mike and Medhane and Wiki. They all kind of have this like sound, and it's just kind of, I don't know, it's a little more provoking. And so I was just making that, and I was really just kind of riffing on like just thinking about kind of my like just life a little bit, and kind of like my comings and goings with religion, and kind of like just like recognizing that like even going through something hard is like gonna make you better. I think that's kind of like what made me what I guess I wrote about.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's more. My mom has a lot of simple sayings, and she always this too shall pass. I know. I remember that in all of the shit that I ever have gone through in life, and I've kept that little mantra. So,
Yeah.
kind of got those type of vibes from Blessings, because it was a stark contrast between that and the first two songs. The first two songs was just you talking your shit, the bravado, and you getting into that. But Blessings was you getting into some of the things that you actually care about, the things that you actually deal with. And then I was like, okay, he's able to hit this immediately. This is the EP, so you don't really have a lot of time for a first time listener to tell us who you are. You got 4 songs on here. There are 4 strong songs on here. There's also features on here. So you got a lot. As a listener, for me, I'm like, oh shit, it's a lot he's combating here. You know what I mean? Because you got the features. You have to own the moment in terms of the features that's on here, because it has to be Ronny DoGood's EP. In my listening opinion, and I'm not a critic, but
sure.
I listen with critical ears. You know what I mean? Just as I'm listening to stuff after I get through the enjoyment part of it. And again, you're getting to that point of where, okay, you're giving us a little bit of you and the sprinkles of what a full length album could possibly be. So I think Blessings was one of the strongest ones on there, because the rest are, you can do those. You can tell you're comfortable, but I think expressing who you are, as it goes, I'll go back to your talent shows, because I remember you said it was something in which you, I think Eminem was one of the talent show, or somebody that you mimicked, or the song, one of the first songs that you really started to mimic a style in terms of just formatting raps and then writing them down. So, Blessings, if you could do more Blessings going forward, like, I think people will definitely buy into you, especially with the vibes that you provide in the first 2 tracks with Stop Playing With Me, and the next track that I absolutely have to get into with Talk Your Shit, which has been a gym staple of mine for the last week and a half since I reached out to you.
That's sick, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. Talk Your Shit, man. Shout out my man Emilio. He's probably one of my closest friends since like over the past close damn near a decade now. he just sent me. He lives in DC, up in like Springfield, Virginia, and he just sent me that beat one day and was like, "This has you written all over it," and I was like, it really just came to me like as soon as he sent the song, and just started just going at it, and eventually it was just like I felt like I had accomplished enough with approaching the like a little intro, then having like the first half of the hook and starting the verse early, and then changing up, like putting like a catchy chanty thing in the hook, in the second hook. And I was like, man, let me have Keenan on here, because I know like he'll just his I love his tone. I'm hearing it in here, like, and I think and like when we were cooking up, I was like, man, you don't even have to come in rapping. If you just came in like literally talking your shit, like that shit would be hard. And so it was, man. It came out exactly how I thought it would. I like having like writing like songs that I think people can chant and stuff, and so I always think of it with like a performance in mind. So that's kind of, I guess, how the song came about, man. Really nothing more than just like trying to have fun and like validate myself a little bit more, and like validate myself to people, I guess, through like being able to make a song like this.
Okay, yeah, okay. You can talk that shit, but you ain't doing nothing if you don't walk that shit. I was trying to get paid. Told you I was dreaming a lot, dreaming a lot. Now I gotta lean when I rock, lean when I rock. Told you I was that boy, never look bad boy. I can feel the shit getting hot, yeah. People, they just do nothing. You could talk that shit, you could walk that shit, but me, I'm likely to run it. One hand on my nuts like I'm Marshawn Lynch. I can swim in a river like Jar Jar Binks. I can preach to some sinners, can harp on it. Got a team full of hitters I bombard with. I could talk to whoever about harmonics, about analog gear, how it sit in a mix, about 44 hertz and flow 32 bit. I can talk about them hoes, I can grip it and rip. They gon' take off my dome when they sick of this shit. I can make a new play. If you're feeling down, baby, hit me up. I can make your mood swing, make the rest disappear like it's Alakazam. Pulled something from nothing, nowhere to begin. I told reality I'm not your man. They hate from the sideline, I'm inside the fence. That's a mindset that ain't never gon' win. Was talking the talk before I was legit. I thought I told you not to doubt on the kid. You gotta get what you want from the risk. I told you that, but it's not a secret. Told you I was dreaming a lot, dreaming a lot. Now I gotta lean when I rock, lean when I rock. Told you I was that boy, never look bad boy. I can feel the shit getting hot, yeah. People, they just do nothing. You could put me, I'm likely to run it. One hand on my nuts like I'm Marshawn Lynch. Tell them talk that shit.
Don't want to take up too much more of your time. So with that said, man, like your future, what can we expect next in terms of, is it another EP in a couple months, or is it a full length? What are you kind of thinking that you want to do moving forward?
I'm thinking I could probably do something full length. That is something that I've been really yearning for. Like something a little more bigger and a fuller picture of like me. So, and like all at once, like you get bits and pieces of them, and then you get some cool records in these EPs. But like I'm definitely thinking of a full project, and definitely actively working on one too. But I'm not necessarily in a place where I want like, to put it out there, because I don't know when it's coming, and I don't want to do that. I'm kind of like, I'm slick. I feel like I should maybe go on some like Jay-Z disappear, grow the hair out kind of shit. Like come back like a different person, or pop out, like, oh, his hair is growing. He must be really working on that album.
He must be in recording mode.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of where I'm at, man. I'm super excited though for it. I have a couple tracks that I'm already really excited about. Just never stop, man. I might even try and squeeze out another little video from the EP as well, just to give some people something for the holidays. And I also have, if anybody that watches this, I have the DoGood sweater vests from the Stop Playing video, and then the DoGood hats as well, that I will be that I'll have for sale for merchandise and stuff like that. and just be on the lookout, man. You know what I'm saying? I might have a single here and there too in the next few, and then top of the year. I'm gonna keep the content rolling, but I'm also gonna try and be real decisive and methodical.
Absolutely. Hey, Ronnie, where can they find you for our audio listeners out there in terms of just your merch, in terms of just you on social media, and then just if you have a website or anything else you want to kind of put out there?
Yeah, you can find me at Ronny DoGood. DoGood is one word, and it's RONNY. Some people can't find me sometimes because they think it's IE, but I don't do that Jersey Shore crap. Yeah, Ronny DoGood right there. Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. RonnyDoGood.com for merch. You can also DM me for merch. The website, kind of isn't always the most updated, but definitely go check it out because it's fire and it's got like a lot of cool art on there, and kind of you may find something that you haven't seen before of mine. And yeah, keep a lookout, man. Maybe I am on SoundCloud too. You might find I upload all my Friday freestyles on Instagram to SoundCloud. So there's a whole bunch of like remix freestyles on my SoundCloud that y'all can check out too, where I'm like getting off like my 90s hip hop taste and even rapping on some like mid 2000s R&B. So
all right. Hey, y'all check out Ronnie's SoundCloud. We're definitely gonna do that because we didn't know he had the SoundCloud and he was doing the freestyle things, but we'll definitely tap into that. Also put it on the gram too, man. Hey, it is what it is. It can't hurt. But Ronnie, man, we appreciate your time, man.
Hey, Cash, I appreciate y'all, man. This was super dope, man. I hope we get to do this again, man.
Nah, say what you was gonna say.
No, I was just signing off for you, man. I was saying I appreciated it and that I really enjoyed talking to you and getting to reflect on some of the things in the project and kind of feel like I made a friend, like connecting about like military and Germany and stuff. That was super cool, man. So the world is so small, you never know what you have in common with someone until you talk about it. So that's what's crazy about podcasts is like those chances.
It's dope, man. Yeah, I definitely was intrigued with the former golfer, Division I, because that shit isn't easy to do. And then walking away from that, starting to rap, produce, it had all of the elements of things that we all go through as human beings over the course of just living. Like you move on, and even though you're probably good at something, it may not be something that you're super passionate about or at the moment passionate about, you know what I mean? So you got an interesting story, got good music. We look forward to more music from you and things that you do. And if there's anything that we can ever do, this is just the first time sit on the couch, but you're always welcome back. If you want to talk sports, unless you want to talk about, outside of the Red Sox, we can't talk about them. But anything like sports-wise outside of that, we definitely can have a conversation and have you back on, man. So just definitely reach out if you need anything.
For sure, man. I appreciate it, Cash. It was great talking to you, man. And tell Prez that I hope he's like, he flew back to Germany today, through the night.
He flew back to Orlando. He's retired now, so he's chilling in Orlando. Okay. He's getting fat in Orlando.
Hey, well, at least, what I'm saying, everything worked out. And so y'all be back. The intangible duo will be back at it, man. So I appreciate it, man. Have a great day, man.
Appreciate it. Yo, people, this is episode 136. Once again, I'm Cash, one half of the Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast team. We will be back next week. Every Tuesday, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The greatest way you can help us is tell a friend to tell a friend by sharing it. But if you want to open up your hearts and your wallets, definitely go on patreon.com/DSC_podcast. You can make a one-time donation or you can make a reoccurring donation. This podcasting thing ain't free. We put it out for free, but it definitely ain't free to get the good quality that you get. So reach out, hit the website, reach out to Ronny DoGood, listen to the music, run the streams up, but more importantly, buy the music. This is how these independent artists survive. Buy the music, buy the merch. That's why we ask them these questions. That's why we tell them to put out the website so you can go buy it. So go buy the website, see if you like it. If you don't like it, no pressure, no pressure. But if you like it and you like the conversation, like what he's about, go buy the merch, go buy the music, and that's how it's going to be. We out.